as a musician, if you don't have an outlet to actually express to play, you will lose the interest or the passion for playing. In fact, you will actually feel intimidated.
What is up, guys? This is Raymond here from Raymond Drums. As you all know, on my YouTube channel, I'm usually doing mostly drum covers with all the transcriptions at the bottom, and you never really hear the sound of my voice. So right now I'm going to try and do some of a brand new series where I actually get a chance to talk with other musicians, especially drummers in Malaysia as well as beyond. But I'm starting with Malaysia first because this is my country and I want to showcase all of the great musicians, especially drummers who have not only survived but thrived in the music business industry. So one of my guests here today is none other than the owner of School of Drums in KL, and he's also an author, entrepreneur, as well as a drum coach. So without further ado, I would like you all to meet Mr. Danny Chen. So Danny, hello, hi.
Hi Raymond, yes.
Yeah, so nice to finally get a chance to also talk to you here on this YouTube video podcast thing. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me to this podcast, and I'm excited. Looking forward to share some of the stuff that I'm doing.
All right, that's great. So for all the audience who don't know who you are, would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so basically I run a school in KL, School of Drums. Basically I do everything at the moment. You can say I'm the coolie boss lah. I run the admin, the administration. From the little things to teaching. So I pao ka liao everything.
Wow.
Past experience, I've been working with Rock School for about 6 years. Doing 2 years will be on the field of project management, and then 4 years in publication. That means managing their books and also distribution. Okay, so my passion would be teaching. I'm passionate about teaching, and lately, for the past few years, I'm passionate about entrepreneurship as well, music business. I guess that's about it. I am a father of 2 children, and I'm a Christian. I go to UMC, worship in UMC church. I think that's about it. Yeah.
It's great to know that you're handling so many things as well. Since you own yourself a drum school and you have this passion for teaching, I would like to know when did you actually start drumming?
Okay, I started drumming at the age of 19 years old, with about 2000. Okay, I started playing in church. It was a very funny story lah. So it's not something that I want to do. It's a need, okay, in the church there is a drum set, but no one is actually doing much with it. No one is playing. So what I did was, then the leaders in the church asked whether I want to play drums. So they sent me to drum lessons for 6 months. I didn't do much, go for lessons and come back. That's about it. So after 6 months, one of the worship leader came up to me and said, would you want to try on a worship session playing drums? So I said, well, why not? Let's do it. So the first session I did was, we didn't actually rehearse much, didn't do much, didn't practice, just run through once and that's it, we are live. So that first session actually got me. I was hooked. I was interested in playing. I like playing basically. So that's how I started playing drums in church.
I see. So a Christian upbringing, one of the main benefactors is to actually make you got inspired to playing drums more now?
Yes and no. Okay, I started playing in church, so I don't have a craving to, there is an outlet to actually for me to play. See, I started in church, so that's my comfort zone in the environment where I'm always used to playing. So I don't really go out to play often. I don't actually gig too often nowadays, but but in church it's always a yes.
I see. You might mind telling me like who were some of your inspirations that actually got you a little bit more passionate into drumming actually?
Okay, when I first started playing in church, so naturally the music that I listen to would be church music. So drummers that I admire and that I listen to would be Hillsong drummers, Planet Shakers drummers like Mike Weber, Luke Mons. So these are really my early influence. So they influenced in terms of my foundational playing. Most of my playing, it's actually from there. Then later on, I move on to more commercial drummers like Dave Weckl, Steve Gadd, Thomas Lang, Rick Latham, Tony Reister, Carter Buford, Steve Jordan, and the list goes on, you know. So during that era, I actually watched a lot of Dave Weckl stuff.
Nice to know. So I feel like we actually had very similar upbringings as well, because I myself is also started off playing a lot of drums in church. So yeah, I also listen to the Hillsong stuff, the Planet Shaker, yes. So I recognize who is Mike Weber and Luke Mons. And yeah, Luke Mons back then, when as Christians we were like, whoa, this guy is really good. How are you able to play those ghost notes and still make it sound like you're really deep into the pocket? So yeah, those were the things that I actually really admire. And yeah, and I also went on to also listen to other drummers that are more commercial, like you said, Dave Weckl, Thomas Lang, Steve Gadd. These are the few that I also watched back then. And I presume when you mentioned Dave Weckl, right? Did you also found it by watching one of his instructional videos called like Back to Basics? Was that the one?
Yes. Actually, I watch. As a teacher, you will naturally want to find more resources, right? So that's how I actually bumped into some of these drummers who are actually great players, but also very good teachers, very inspiring. So that's how I started watching Dave Weckl. He's one of the first that I watched. Him teaching, watch his performances. Those days, Modern Drummer Festivals is one of the place where we look for new things, performances, inspiration, new drummers to look up to, and stuff like that. I bought a lot of instructional videos from him as well. Those that you mentioned, Back to Basic, and a few others, and even like play some of his musics. Okay, he released some materials, scores of his song tracks, and how to approach them, and what his concept behind why he played, why the part that he played on a certain section. So learn all these things actually help to develop my own playing. So the later ones, the later artists that I look up to, or I watch, I enjoy their playing would be John Riley, Tommy Igoe, Benny Greb, Anika Niles. So I stopped until there. Anika Niles would be the last, most recent drummers that I actually follow. Yeah. So the newer ones, I don't really know them. Like some of the gospel drummers, I know them, but I don't really dig into their stuff.
All right, that's good to know. So, knowing that these were some of your inspirations, what made you actually decide to pursue drumming as a profession?
Okay, actually, it's more of a teaching profession rather than a drumming profession. Early days when I started drumming, I didn't actually play. It's a very short one actually. I didn't actually play for a very long time. After a couple of years of playing, I did some commercial recordings and some gigging, some musical. Other than that, some concerts, Christian concerts, youth concerts. After that, then I actually went into a season of music business, where I actually took over a school. That's how I started doing music business, running a school. Okay, so for me, it's more, if you talk about drumming professionals, for me, I don't have a long career, very short ones, and after that it moves on to doing business and teaching. So most of the time, about 20 years, I've been teaching most of the time and doing gigs. now and then, but not like really engaging into playing and gigging like church once in a while, because as you know lah, when you start running a business or teaching, it's very hard to actually commit to playing. So you seldom get calls for gigs for replacement and stuff. So the only thing is when you have leisure time, and also someone calls you, knows you well, then they will ask you to play lah. But other than that, I don't really play much during my younger days. I mean, if there's a chance to go back again, I would actually play more instead of actually teach. It means not actually taking the opportunity to take over a school. I would just immerse myself in playing, get more experience in that area.
I see. So you would actually prefer to currently right now to perform more rather than teach? Is that the case?
Not so. If I'm younger, probably yes. Okay. If I'm younger, 10 years old, 10 more years, then I would actually play more. Because back then, when you are young, you have more energy. You're more adventurous, right? So you want to do more stuff. So you are keen to explore things. But now I'm actually 41. So 41. So I need something more stable. I need something to keep me stable in a sense where I can actually keep things moving. Because I have families, I have workers to take care of, I have the school to run. So most of my time I actually occupied with things like that. Okay, not much of time to think about creative activities.
I see.
Yeah.
So the cause and effect of wanting to perform more, but then also risk the possibility of not getting the financial gains to also feed your family and all of those, right? All the concerns.
It's, I guess if you play more, it can be pretty stressful for someone who has not been playing for a while, and it's not easy to. It's not as easy as someone thinks. You know how to play drums, you know how to play instrument, you can actually just play in any place, right? But song repertoire is actually one of it, and then the places that you go also will be one of it. So you need to be able to fit into that environment to thrive. So besides playing, you need to be able to socialize. You need to know stuff. You need to know their lingo. You need to be able to mix well. So it's a whole new thing for someone who has lost touch in that environment for so long.
Well, and I almost think that in a sense it can also relate back to you being a business owner and being a music teacher, because you also have to know the lingo on socialize with parents as well, how to communicate with the younger generation in case, and how to educate them better. So perhaps there's also a give and take. So we could also argue the fact that maybe drum performers, drummers, they can perform really well, but they might have trouble trying to run business, trying to communicate with parents or other business investors. There's those type of things. They might, see it as a totally different lingo as well. It's fair to say both sides has their own ups and downs.
Of course.
So being a business owner and a music teacher, so may I ask, what were some of the challenges you faced during the pandemic years, and how did you manage to overcome it?
Okay, during pandemic, there was not much. I mean, during pandemic, everyone switched to online, isn't it? So for us, drumming, it's a pretty difficult one. You need to have that equipment. You need to have. In general, when you look at it, you think about doing drums online. It's pretty hard, in a sense where sound is one. equipment would be one. Not many students actually own the drums when they started learning for at least maybe 6 months to a year. So during pandemic, not many students, when we decided to switch to online. When it started, for the first month we didn't actually do much. We was just thinking maybe it's temporary, maybe just 1 month, 2 months, that's it. So when things escalate, not looking too good, then second month we decided to do online. So we told all the students who wants to, who it's able to, whether they want to do online, they have equipments and stuff. So we started doing online, and it was tough. Definitely it was tough. Not many students enjoy doing it. Of course, teachers also not enjoying too much. And to make it worse, we have teachers who don't buy the idea of doing online, not effective and stuff. So they prefer to do what we call offline learning, meaning to say they record the videos and send to the parents and let the children actually watch the videos, just like watching Drumeo lah, basically. But it didn't work too well as well. Reason being is because it takes a lot of time to produce a video, and a very not like 30 minutes long on the video. It's like few minutes, maybe 10-15 minutes. Within that short period of time, there's only so little you can actually do with your students. Of course, the student need to have the initiative to watch the videos lah. So it didn't work quite well, but we managed to have a pool of students to do online. So we have a stream of income there, and rental as well. The landlord actually gave us some discount in the rental. So that's how we actually manage it through. So we didn't actually do too much during the pandemic. So that's how, I guess, God watches over us, and a lot of things happen actually, like, people are not able to go out and stuff. There is a lot of mental issues going on in for everyone, I guess, for teachers and students as well. So it was pretty hard hit for us lah. So at one point I was thinking maybe we're going to do something else if this doesn't work out. But in the end, it worked out well. So praise God.
Yeah. Definitely we're thankful for the fact that the tough times we've gone through, and we are now currently pretty much almost getting back on track, and I feel like we are now moving forward so fast, it's almost hard to keep up anymore at times like this. Okay, then also speaking of which, so now that in a way that the pandemic is somewhat almost over as of now, but right now, we're definitely still wearing masks to teach lessons. So being someone as yourself, right, being a parent of, you said you're a parent of 2 kids, so that definitely requires a lot of love, patience, and a lot of time actually. So how do you actually manage to balance your work life as well as your family life?
Okay, to be frank, it's very hard to do that. I'm busy. My kids are also very busy with their schoolwork and stuff. So but the good thing is I always see them every day. I will actually meet with them, I'll see them, I'll send them to school. So when I go back home, they are still awake, doing their homework. But it's very hard to actually balance at this point. Reason is because I'm a one-man show. I run everything. So I tend to overwork. I tend to work till late night sometimes, at least minimum 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Then I'll be back, and then when I go back, the scenario will be like this. The children is still working, still doing their homework, so we don't actually spend a lot of time together. But we do communicate every day lah. I'll ask them how are they doing and stuff like that. So during weekends, I only have one weekend off, which is Sunday. Saturday is one of our busiest day. So Sunday, besides going to church, if we have outings, we have time, we'll go out and stuff. So that's about it actually for the time being for now. So it's very hard to balance off in terms of giving time to family, wife and children. But during daily basis, the morning sessions I will actually spend time with my wife. Then afternoon I'll work as usual till night hours. Then at night in the morning, then I'll see what can I do with my children.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough trying to balance out between work and as well as family life, right? So sometimes there's always that difference of how we do things. Even myself, I'm married. Currently don't have kids yet, but even with that, we sometimes my wife and I we end up becoming workaholics. We might even take the work back home, and then we might work until midnight, and then rinse and repeat the same thing early again in the morning. And then we'll end up like, what are we doing? Are we supposed to spend time together? We are, but we're just spending time together working.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things so definitely there needs to be some sort of a balance, of course. So in that case, right, since you say you're definitely being very difficult having to balance work life as well as running your business as well as helping out with the family and spending time with your loved ones, do you still manage to find any time to squeeze in a practice session for yourself?
For now, as for now, I actually don't do a lot of practicing. Practicing in terms of intentional practicing for if let's say I'm playing in church, then yes, very intentional. I practice certain stuff, but in terms of daily drilling and stuff, actually not much. Most of my time it will be spent planning stuff, for planning for teaching contents, finding the right resources for my students, running the school and stuff. So intentional practice, actually not much, maybe 5-10 minutes, doing some drills, some hand technique and stuff. That's about it. And occasionally some drum mill stuff just to keep things fresh, see what other things I should work on. But as you know, if you don't play as a musician, if you don't have an outlet to actually express to play, you will lose the interest or the passion for playing. In fact, you actually feel intimidated when you play because you have not been crafting, improving, developing what you should have. So it will make it harder for me to actually play again. For this season, I wouldn't say I'm very fruitful in terms of practicing, but I look forward to actually go back to church to serve again, play again when things are better, when I manage to find someone to help out in the school.
Going back to the fact that you definitely said you had some trouble finding time to practice, but you still found time to actually create lesson plans as well as method materials that you can provide for each individual students. Correct? Which is also why I actually know that you not only created one but two drum method books with Edwin Boon. So these were the two books. Let's put it up there. Our audience to be able to see that. So my question, I have actually gone through this once myself, and I actually used like a few of the lessons that was also put inside the book, and I realized it's actually quite comprehensive. So very easy to learn and to pick up for a lot of beginner students all the way up to the intermediate category. So I found everything to be very well done. Just my question was, what's it like working with Edwin in creating this drum method book?
It was a very random decision that we worked together lah. It was a very unexpected one actually. But working together was not really hard, not very difficult, as we have a common goal, which is to create contents and resources for general and actually daily teaching. So we have a lot of common we have a lot in common. Like we have like-minded thinking. We wanted to provide quality and value in what we wanted to do, and we know that in the music, in the drum teaching market, it's very hard to find books that you can actually use for everyone. So we decided to come with something where it can be used for everyone, and it's very easy to understand. So basically, it's to cater for. I'm not sure whether to use the word Asian, but maybe just make it localized, local content where it's suitable for Malaysians to use the book to actually teach, where you can actually cater for general teaching and also for examination preparation. Okay, in the process of actually learning to cope with one another, learning to, as you know, we have very different backgrounds. Edwin has a drumline background and has a very systematic approach in terms of teaching, where he's actually a teacher in Yamaha, where everything is been taught to be systematic and structural. Where myself, it's throughout my teaching career, most of the resources and the methods I actually picked up along the way with different teachers. Okay, and also finding ways to do things differently to cater for different individuals. So we have a very different background. So when we work together, it's not super difficult to work with another. Okay, in fact, I actually learned a lot from him. I've been benefited so much from this partnership. So I'm looking forward to create more contents with him and to share more experience with him as well, as I've been teaching for a while. So hope that we can actually come to a place where we can actually share our resources and our experience with the up and coming teachers. Yeah.
All right, that's excellent to hear. So I've actually also had a chance to talk with Edwin as well, with regards to you guys creating the book, and I heard from him that you guys are also creating upcoming book 3 and book 4, all the way to even book 5 to drum method books. So my question is, will you be catering towards to even more to the higher difficulty, to the advanced stuff? So maybe doing like really difficult odd time signatures or metric modulation, those type of things?
Gee, we would love to, but for the timing, we have only planned to release until intermediate level, which is around 5 to 6. Then the advanced level 6 to 8 onwards will be very subjective, and it's so we decided to put it a lot more to cover to another series. So we want to wrap up this how to play drum series with just intermediate level, which is about 5 to 6. And anyone who wants to actually learn to play drums and want to play common pop songs, this will be a series to look out to. So for those who are really serious into drumming, they are more towards the advanced stuff, that will be another series where you will be working on, maybe not so soon, maybe two years down the line. As we did book 1, and in the midst of creating book 2, we actually finished book 2 quite some time already. Before we had just launched book 2 recently. So the challenge is from book 1 to book 2, the transition it's very hard. That means from book 1 you finish book 1. The learning content it's very easy, but when you jump to book 2, it's the learning steep, it's very high. So we decided to actually break the book into 2 books, but still the content of the book it's still difficult. there are some technical elements where you take some time for students to actually master. But of course, if the book is not meant for you to go, it's yes and no. It's not meant for you to go page by page. But of course, if the student can go page by page, it's ideal. But it's meant for you to have the resources and the means to know these are the things that you will want your student to learn, and you will need to know how to pace them well with the students, not stuck with one topic for a very long time, and then you will only move on when you finish the element. But you have the liberty to actually move on to other elements where you will enhance the learning instead of actually stuck at one point. Yeah, so that's the intention of the book.
See, that's really interesting to know, because that is also one of those things I was curious about, because we all know that there are so many drum method books already out and about, available for all sorts of levels. So it was actually a curiosity out of mine. I was thinking, why do you guys need to create another one? Why not just use like some of the others from the past that we've used? So knowing you guys were trying to make it localized to also provide better education for Malaysians specifically, I think is actually a very interesting and practical route to go into. So really happy to hear that. Of course, I do have questions with the book, actually, some interesting things. So I noticed that when you guys were the transcriptions, the musical notes, so sometimes there are many different methods of writing, right? So sometimes you have a single stem where everything goes up, so your kick and the snare, the hi-hat is all heading upwards. Or there are some where the bass drums is down, the kicks is down, but the hands are on top. Or there's a mixture of hands and feet at the bottom, and then only the hi-hats is on top. So what made you guys decide to go with the route where I've noticed mostly is hands is on top, the first stem, and feet is the second stem?
Okay, we actually struggle when we started writing. We actually struggle with that. Reason being is because for me, everything that I want to present in the book, it needs to be clean. I'm the clean type of person. I want things to be easy to read. But Edwin, it's the type where it's more technical. That means he wanted things to be a bit more proper, so to speak. So you have more rests. The foot is independent, like you mentioned. The foot is independent. You have more rests, and then the hand will be the snare will be with the hi-hat and stuff. So, but we managed to come to a point where we actually try to present things where it is easy to read, presentable. So there are some exercises we use one stem, everything goes up. And then there are general exercises we use. We want them to actually learn how to read the rests and the notations and rhythm notations. So we decided to do that instead of everything goes up, but have two sections. The bass drum stand alone, and then the snare and the hi-hat will be one stem. So that's how we come about it. But in future coming books, we tend to want to mix around when they have the ability to read rhythms, read proper rhythms. Then that's where we will actually make the notations actually easier to read, more presentable rather than a lot of messy rests.
So coming from one drum educator to another drum educator, what exactly is your preferred method of transcriptions? Do you prefer everything single stem, or you like it to be just two stems but kick and snare is at the bottom and only hi-hats or something like that?
Okay, for me, I've been teaching rock school for a very long time. So for me, rock school works well. Rock school's the way of rock school writes works well for me. But teaching younger generations and the softwares that we use, I believe you also use softwares like Groove Strike from Mike Johnston's website.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Use that.
So everything is one stem.
Yeah, that is my personal pet peeve. I like it two stems, but okay, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, so in terms of writing, in terms of presenting, of course, one stem it's easier to read. But in terms of writing, it's very hard to actually write in one stem. So I still prefer to write in rock school method. Rock school's ways to present that means the snare and the bass drum, it's actually one stem. The hi-hat is standalone. But sometimes it depends if there is a lot of hand stuff going on, like a lot of rose note, a lot of snare parts. Then usually I will actually tie with the hi-hat instead of the bass drum. So it depends on how complex is the pattern.
I see. Then that also leads to another question that I still haven't quite found the answer to, is that because we have so many different ways of transcribing and making drum notations, do you know whether or not which one is actually the proper or the be all end all, or this is the correct method of transcribing? The end. Is there such a thing?
In terms of general ones, I think the internet will always present the ones that has one stem, right or not?
Yeah, which I can't stand, by the way.
Sorry?
Yeah, which is the one thing I can't stand is having everything single stem. I can understand if it's a linear pattern. Okay, kick right left, kick right left, right left. Yeah. That's simple, right? Because everything is just one note at a time, so we can put it single stem, it makes sense. But when you have to make like you said, like the more difficult technical stuff, suddenly a paradiddle comes along, and then you will have a kick that goes in like a quintuplets or some sort of polyrhythmic stuff. If you do that and you write in single stem, please don't do that. I'm just telling you guys who do transcription in one stem, please make it two stem, please.
I would still think doing two stem it will be ideal for general transcription. It's easier to read somehow, but you will need to know some basic some basic reading lah. If not, then you will not be able to read some of the rhythm patterns with notes, with rests in there. So I would still prefer two stem, of course.
That's good to know. If you are a single stem guy, then we have some problems. But yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But of course, knowing that, right? You're teaching a lot of different ways of also playing. So sometimes you will put in single stem for linear fills and all that stuff. So is it important that do you also teach music theory to your students, by the way?
Yes, we do teach music theories to the relevant ones, the theory that relevant to drummers lah. But in terms of general music theories like chords and stuff, we don't, unless they actually reach a certain level where they have the ability to understand or they actually play other instruments. And yes, then we will actually link. We will actually relate them whenever that is necessary.
And speaking of which, do you yourself also play any other musical instruments?
When I started playing music when I was 7, I was introduced to electron, which is organ.
Organ. So like the Yamaha stuff, right?
Yes. That's how I get my musical foundation from. The listening, the chord playing, the tempo thing. So everything starts from there. It comes pretty natural lah. So when I pick up drums, things are not very difficult at first until you reach a certain level where there are more coordinations. So that's where I actually put in more hard work.
To this day, are you still playing the electron, perhaps, by any chance?
Nope. Nope. I play a little bit of guitars. I've been trying to learn guitar all my life. Okay, I like the guitar sound. I like the instrument, but somehow I just couldn't pick up the instrument well lah. I mean, there are seasons I I'm very hardworking. I practice every day, but there are seasons I don't really touch the instruments. So you can say I know guitar or I don't really know how to play lah. Yeah. So I know how to play the guitar a bit. I learned piano for a while as well. I'm a very, how to say, I come from a perfectionist background. I used to be really stubborn in that area. So for me, I always think that you need to master that instrument. Only you master something well, then only you move on to doing other things. So that's the same philosophy I put in learning instrument as well. So the drums, you can't actually learn everything, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you don't want to be like the jack of all trades but master of none, right?
Correct. So that took me a long time to actually break off. So eventually I managed to break off that mindset. So I decided to pick up other instruments along the way.
All right. So then my question for you also now is like, since you're teaching drums, you run the school, you have a family, and then you're creating lesson plans, and you're also, creating drum method books. Seems like there's so many things going on. Do you still, have any time for yourself to do other things, to pursue other hobbies?
That's a good question, actually. I don't really think too much about having fun. Okay. But in the midst of doing whatever that I'm doing, I find joy and fun in doing it lah. So sometimes I will spend time working out in my brain, not physically. Okay, thinking about new ideas, thinking about how other ways we can actually do things differently. I'm always because I don't have an outlet to actually play, so all my creativity juices need somewhere to. I need to use the creativity somewhere. So I use the creativity in the business setting, in the teaching environment that I'm in. How to do things differently. How to create more contents, or how to make things easier for the newer generation to learn, basically. So this is my goal, and also how to help the teachers to actually teach effectively. So these are the things that I enjoy thinking about. And other than that, I like play basketball. So this has been one of my favorite sports since secondary school. I used to play a while. Before pandemic, I used to have a bunch of friends who play, so we used to play together. But after that, we didn't actually manage to play much. They still continue on, but I couldn't continue anymore. Reason is because I'm actually busy teaching at night. So because of the working time, it's very hard for me to find kaki to do things. I mean, play sports or talk about 飲茶. So you finish at 8-9 o'clock. Okay, so when you go home, call you for 飲茶, you practically very exhausted already. So you don't have the mood to actually go out to stay until like 1 o'clock and come back, and next day you start again. So not much of actually interaction with friends nowadays. Sometimes during off days, there will be makan time with one or two friends and catch up and stuff like that. Random movies, sometimes Netflix. Everything is so convenient nowadays. Everything is in the phone. So while you're waiting or doing something else, just a quick movie. Stuff like that. I used to like playing games. I used to like playing video games, like those RPG games. Shooting games and stuff. I used to also watch anime. One of the favorite that I watch would be Dragon Ball.
Of course, yes. That's an instant classic.
Yeah, man. So that's some of the things that I still enjoy doing until now. Whenever I somehow, it's not something I intentional do it. not something intentional, but as time goes, as thing comes along, when it's there, then I will actually watch it. I will not. It's very hard for me to stop. Once I start doing like watching movies or anime or playing games. So that's why I seldom find time to actually do all these things, because when I do it, it's very hard for me to actually break off.
Yeah, definitely. I can 100% relate to what you're saying. Especially for myself as a person who loves watching anime. I mean, as you guys can tell, with my YouTube channel, I'm just constantly uploading drum covers of anime songs. So yeah, definitely. Since you also, just like a quick side tangent, since you said you've watched like Dragon Ball, do you also like continue that series? Do you continue like Dragon Ball Z or the Dragon Ball GT and all that?
Yes, I do. Actually, I do. But it is not like I'm very into it nowadays. Whenever it pops up in whichever media, I will watch it lah. But when I started one, I cannot stop anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And also because you used to play a lot of basketball, right? Are you also an NBA fan, perhaps?
Yes, I used to be an NBA fan. I know most of the I was going to say band. most of the teams and the players. But lately I've not been watching them long. There are a lot of new players, and I've lost touch on that game lah, basically. Yeah.
I see. Then when you were really into NBA or into basketball, did you also happen to, I'm pretty sure you might have probably watched a little anime show called Slam Dunk. Did you watch that too?
Yes, correct. Slam Dunk. All-time favorite. I still have their VCDs.
Wow.
Yeah, comic books. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, those bring back memories.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
It's one of those things back in the 90s when it's like I don't even play sports, but because of just that one anime that made me go like, yeah, let's go play basketball. I know nothing about it. So it was one thing I'm glad about with what anime did was that it gave me a chance to actually start exercising.
Great! Yes!
Wow, what those fun things there. But did you also like maybe perhaps watch the newer generation of anime sports like Kurokuro Basket? Have you heard of
Yes,
that?
I watched that recently. When was that? I think last year. I watched it. I watched it. I think 2 times. Twice.
Oh wow! The first season, second season as well.
Everything. Yeah, I watched everything.
Wow, really? That's awesome, man. So yeah, I think we might actually end up talking half of it about anime already. But you know that Slam Dunk movie is actually coming out, I think, end of this year or something like that. Are you excited to go watch that one too?
Oh, definitely. That would be a must watch.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping that they will actually play that opening theme song again just to get that feels. Yeah, that is one of those things that.
Yes,
but
yes.
That's also really, really awesome. Maybe if I will just wrap this up. So, like, let's say, do you have any advice you would like to give the audience or for anyone in general who is thinking of heading into this career path, a drum teacher or a music center school owner, perhaps?
Okay, my ultimate advice would be, the one and only advice would be to know your directions, your direction, your goals, and your purpose. Because when you know what you want, you will always do the right thing. If you're not sure why you open a school, of course it's about survival, it's about earning an income financially. But if you don't have the passion to teach or you don't have a passion to cultivate or nurture new upcoming teachers, then I would say that you will find it very difficult to continue on. If you don't have the passion to teach, or you just treat teaching like a part-time, where you gig full-time, when you during your free time you just want to have some side incomes, and along the way you don't develop the passion for your students and also teaching, you will find it very hard to continue as well. So I would the one and only advice I would give is to know your purpose. and your goals. If you know what you want, then you will always do the right thing. Whatever that you do, find good partners. Not necessarily business partners, but find good partners that can support you along the way, and you can support them in whichever way, and also have wide networking. You never know, one day you will need someone's help in any other field, not just music basically. Okay, and also have, like I said the ultimate is always having a game plan.
Alright, that's some good advice. Thank you so much. Is there also like any other upcoming projects that we can look forward to from you?
At the moment, nothing too much. It has been a handful already. So so the upcoming ones will be the book the drum book. We are hoping to get book 3 out soon. Most of the things that I put into the effort that I put into will be in School of Drums. So basically, we have some new development coming few months time. So hope that will be a good experiment, and in future it will be some of the things that we implement in the school.
All right, looking forward to hearing more about this stuff. Thank you, Danny, so much for coming on to talk to me about these things. So where can we, the audience, can also find you and check out all your stuff?
Well, they can actually head on to, I have a website called SchoolofDrums.com.my, and then Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So I don't have a personal branding in per se, but I actually built the brand around people that works with me, and also the school branding.
Alright, thanks for all of that stuff. So I hope you guys get a chance to actually know a little bit more about Danny as well as his School of Drums. So be sure to check it out. I'll leave all of the links in the description below so you guys can also see it. So thank you so much for coming on, Danny, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you for having me.